Today's sponsor is Loot Crate. For less than $20 a month, Loot Crate gives the geek in you a special treat every month. Loot Crate is a subscription box service with more than $40 worth of geek, gamer, and pop culture gear, collectibles, apparel, comics, etc. delivered to your mailbox every month. This month, they're bringing you a fight for the ages. Suit up, choose your allies, and enter the arena for combat. They're ready to stand their ground this month with exclusive items from Blizzard, Fallout 4, Capcom, sponsor-worthy loot from the Hunger Games, as well as a few more items that will help their winners emerge victorious. You have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's crate, and when the cutoff happens, that's it, Jack. It's over. So go to lootcrate.com/kindafunny and enter the code kindafunny to save $3 on your new subscription today. All right, my topic. Mine, of course, comes from the community. I don't know why it would be, of course. This comes from patreon.com/kindafunny. Thank you so much to TakTrak for going over there, supporting us, getting one of his topics read on the show. And of course, thank you all. Yes, you. Thank you all for supporting us in the month of October. Here is the crawl of names for everyone who supported us on patreon.com/kindafunny in October. But this is strictly about TakTrak. He writes in and says, albums and or songs that defined periods of your life. What albums did you play to death throughout your lives? What songs did you and do you currently listen to on repeat? Finally, what is the most embarrassing song you secretly loved? Tim, Greg, Nick, Colin, Portillo, and Kevin, you're the best. Now, we've done...
You the best.
We've done music recommendations recently. That was like 93 or 97 episode, or whatever. This isn't that, though. This is very specifically, songs that are, or albums that are attached to moments in your life.
Yeah. Okay.
What springs to mind for you, Timothy?
So many. So damn many. I mean, my formative years of becoming who I am, which I'd say is about around 13. So, when I was in middle school, I think that's when I became who I am. And Reanimation by Linkin Park and Eminem's second and third albums. So Marshall Mathers LP and Eminem Show. Those definitely stick to that time. I want to give a real shout out to My Heart Will Go On. From the Titanic soundtrack.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know Celine Dion.
Little Celine Dion.
Which that holds a very nice emotional resonance with me from when I was younger. Don't know why.
You knew it was epic and you knew the loves between Jack and Rose.
I enjoyed that a lot. And
Great film.
It was that was like one of the first songs that I wanted to own.
Oh.
And I was very young when that happened.
Did you sing to it
when
you were a
kid?
kid?
Kidding me? Yeah, duh.
Okay.
But I recorded that
Just
shit
checking.
on the cassettes when it came on the radio. Shout out to Radio Disney.
I thought you said you
1310.
recorded your young self singing along with the song. I'd like to hear that or see that.
I wish. On my fucking Home Alone 2 Talk Boy.
Wow.
Oh yeah, talk.
Yeah,
Wow.
that would have been real good. No, but then after that, it's all the same things. Like the music recommendations kind of just come back. But Tona's first album, Archetype, and the extended fam album, Happy Fuck You Songs, when I was 2005 to 2007 era. Like those things just fucking changed my life. And I was just like, holy shit, I love music. And that is when I started thinking I was better than everyone else. Because I was like, I'm listening to this shit that's better than the shit you're listening to.
And that's when you went hipster.
That's when I learned a lot about myself and who I am. And pushing through that to where I'm at now, where I realize I still love those things, but I'm not better than anyone else. Like, I just enjoy this. And it's like other people can enjoy whatever the fuck they want to enjoy. And I think that that's an important learning curve that you got to get through. But at the time, I felt better than everyone.
Nice. Colin, what is the album title for Collective Soul with Gel and all that on there?
I don't remember.
I
I can
think
see
I
the
stuck
album
it.
cover.
Yeah, it was. And remember, the case was yellow.
Yeah.
They made a yellow case.
Yeah, I
for
can
for
see
something.
it.
I haven't gone to the
The
internet.
Yellow Submarine.
The Yellow Submarine by
that
Collective
accurate?
Soul.
No, I can totally see it.
Hold on. Collective.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it
Soul.
self-titled?
Shine? Was that the album title though?
Shine bright like that.
I don't even know how to. I haven't looked up how to look.
Google the
I don't have
images.
Spotify. You know that.
Images.
I'll get it.
Image search.
The Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, 2, 3, and 4 soundtracks also. That's just that whole time of my life. Defined. And the Gorillaz self-titled album.
Hints, allegations, and things left unsaid.
Yeah, that's it.
There you go. No wonder I don't remember
Clint
that.
Eastwood.
I got sunshine.
In a bag
So
of
good.
music. When I think of this, this topic came through, like there's tons of songs and albums that stick out. And this Collective Soul
Yeah, that's the
album
first record I
takes
did.
me back to 5th grade outdoor ed. when
Yeah, I remember this. The guy shouting.
I'm sorry, I had a picture of you in outdoor ed that I'm gonna write down.
I have tons of photos that I will gladly go get for you,
Lord.
and they will be as ridiculous as you probably imagine them to be.
Yes.
Yes. 5th grade outdoor ed, where it was like, did everybody have outdoor ed? Is
No,
that a
I don't
thing?
know what outdoor ed is.
We
PE.
suburbs of Chicago.
Oh.
No, not PE. Suburbs of Chicago. It was like it was our first overnight trip as a class somewhere
oh, okay.
where we all piled.
Oh,
in
we call that
buses.
nature's classroom.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
We
Really?
drove up to
Nature's classroom.
northern Illinois or southern Wisconsin. I no longer remember.
That is some weird.
And there's like cabins and stuff like that, and you go and
Yeah,
we
I
made
hated that
paper
shit.
out of garbage and shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Paper
Like,
out of
made
garbage.
Paper out of garbage.
that's what it was like. Yeah, where
Nature's
you
classroom.
went around and you got like fucking trees and shit and all this garbage, and then you fucking made it into pressed it into paper.
Pulp.
Yeah, stupid ass garbage. Where you're supposed to remember fucking nature. Fuck nature is what I say.
I'm
But
with you.
no, and it was like, but it was like on the bus ride up there, we were all like so stoked to be like going on this trip away from your parents. And there's like chaperones. It's like
Yeah.
what you see in the movies, right? Or TV shows or whatever. And so, yeah, everybody had albums that we were trading around and doing stuff with. I remember one kid got in trouble because he made a point to show like the Offspring, what was it? What's that album? With the Smash, yeah. With the back and like all the fucking curse words on it and stuff like that. But yeah, I remember Collective Soul just rocking out to that shit. Like that was like
That's
the jam.
awesome.
Like, so like whenever I hear one song from that, like like that takes me back to that moment. You know what I mean? Like that's like wrapped up in it.
Wow.
And I've always talked about like Pinkerton for me was I had a
Mario
summer.
World.
Yeah, said that summer with Matt Noel, and then I bought my SNES, and then I just went home and played Mario World over and over while listening to Pinkerton over and over again.
That's
And then
awesome.
the Jay and Silent Bob soundtrack
Mhm.
For Strikes Back, got it the week before I went to Mizzou, and then got there and then listened to that like my first time on my own, again away from parents or whatever. And then 9/11 happens, and everything becomes super important and weird, and like listening to that album over and over and over again because it was such a good mix of just different stuff.
Yeah.
Nick.
Yeah. There's a lot of, this is an intricate one, guys. We have to unpack this a little bit.
All right, we're unpacking everybody.
Because you mentioned songs that you're embarrassed by. I'm embarrassed by every song I listen to, largely because I don't know who the artist is and I don't know the actual lyrics. More often than not, I just guess Drake.
You're with Tim, so that's probably right.
So Jimmy, he's very popular right now, so maybe it's true. One of the most embarrassing songs I think in recent years that I listened to, not because I listened to it, but because I think one of my friends caught me listening to it on Spotify. This is when Spotify would like alert people like what you were listening to, and my
Nick
friend,
Scarpino's listening to
my
this.
friend's like, please stop listening to fucking Miley Cyrus. Like, stop. Whatever that, sweating
can't
like a
stop.
sweaty girl,
Yeah.
out of sweat, hands in the air like she's sweating. I don't know.
That's it. You're nailing
Did
it.
I
Keep
nail
going. Guys, we
There
can't
are-
sweat so much now. Somebody gonna sweat somewhere. Some now sweat.
Okay. I can remember the lyrics. There are,
You never remembered the lyrics. None of those were real lyrics.
it's not. You told me I nailed it.
I lied.
There's a lot of albums I think that I remember. I don't really recall any ones that stick. I guess Blood Sugar Sex Magic was a huge album for me. Chili Peppers. That I listened to a lot. I only had like 3 albums as a kid. I had Smells Like Teen Spirit, which was is that the name of the album?
Nevermind.
Nevermind was the name of the album. And then what was Pearl Jam's 10? No.
Yeah,
Yes.
the pink one. Yeah.
Those are the 3 albums I remember when I was a kid. And then I remember my brother had this album that was I guess it was Rage Against the Machines. Was it self-titled? The first one with the guy on fire. That
Self-titled.
shot of the monk on fire.
Yep.
That
That
was
fucking seminal record.
fuck. That was so good.
Oh, that's a good
He
record.
used to play that a lot for me, and I was like, this is amazing. So there were those. I mean, whenever I think of actually a time that defined my life, it was the early 90s, just because that was when I was actually becoming aware of what the fuck was happening around me and music and all that stuff. I do remember specifically listening to the Batman soundtrack. No, not Batman Forever. That was actually when it got good, when Seal was like,
Yeah, Seal's like fucking. Let's wreck this.
It's funny because
Kiss
that was the
from a
song. That
Rose.
was the song I was gonna say. It was like I'm not really ashamed of it, but that song is fucking awesome.
oh, it's good.
Everything about that song is awesome. The composition, the lyrics, everything about it is.
from a Rose?
Yeah, it's perfect. It's like a perfect song.
No, it is a perfect song. It fucking is a perfect song.
Did he
Perfect
write
man.
that for the movie? Is that the backstory? Did they like just come to him, or did he already have that going, and then that just?
I didn't even know it
propelled
was
him?
in the movie.
I mean, the video for it is all is
I never
like
saw
him
it.
on a building and
Yeah.
Batman doing
pretty
Batman
pretty
shit.
seminal video from like
Nicole
you were kind
Kidman's
of young when
being-
that.
Yeah.
You were like 5 when that came out.
Mm.
Yeah,
I'm talking about
I
the
love that
original
fucking song.
Bat Dance by Prince. I had the single, and then you flipped it over. It was another weird song, and I never listened to it. I just listened to the shit out of it. And my mom was like, "You really like that song?" And I'm like, "No, I don't, but it's the only thing I have right now before Batman comes out.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna. And then they played the music video, and it was like fucking Prince, like with little bat wings, and it was so weird. And I'm like, I
And you
don't
were
fucking
rock
like
hard,
this at
you're like,
all.
what's
I didn't even
happening?
like Prince. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
Give it to us, Nick.
And like,
Thank you.
you know, and
This reminds me, I gotta download Raspberry Beret.
oh no, I like Prince now. Don't
No,
get me wrong.
I know. I'm
I
just
love
saying,
Prince now.
Gotta remember to get that.
Gotta. He's an amazing artist.
Computer blue.
Oh my God.
You got to get 2 in a row sometimes.
Christ.
But yeah, no, music was never crazy my thing. But yeah, there are some.
See, that's the
albums.
thing is like music's not crazy my thing either, but there's just those things of that you hear that and it takes me back immediately. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was talking about Hey Ya, right? Like in college, right? Like I talk about this all the time. We throw all house parties, 4 days a week or
I
whatever.
love the thought of you listening to that song.
Hey Ya? Hey Ya, like we had a shitty
He always
boombox,
tries
right?
to match the clap and misses it.
We had this dumbass boombox or whatever that we had fucking people would come on and put party mixes on there, and like when that I'll never forget being mid Caps game, and it was a heated Caps game, and there's like 30 people in this tiny shitty house or whatever, and when that song came on, everything stopped. Everyone stopped playing Caps and just jumping around being a fucking asshole. You know what I mean?
They're all
Like, it was just
shaking it
weird.
like a salt shaker.
That was that double album, right?
Yeah.
Shake
Which
it
is
like
such a-
Polaroid picture.
such a
Actually,
goddamn
you idiot.
disappointment.
Yeah, I remember a lot of my friends being like, "This album
That was the beginning of the end.
Mother's Milk. Was that another album?
Yeah, that's a chili. That's
Chili
an
Peppers, right?
early. That's an early Chili Peppers. That's a pre.
Milk and album.
No, I was
That's
gonna- I
that's
get
like a
confused.
seminal Chili Peppers
Blood
record.
Sugar Sex Magic is one I'm thinking of. That's
Yeah,
one that's got, like,
Mother's
Under
Milk
the
is
Bridge.
one before it.
Mother's
Yeah, you're
Milk.
not thinking of Mother's Milk.
I'm not thinking of Mother's Milk.
Yeah, I don't think you would know Mother's Milk.
I don't think I do. No. I think-
I don't know. You guys saying music's not your thing. I grew up in a very musical household. It was very important to my family. So I mean, depending on the time and place you're talking about, there's just talking to a friend of mine recently about how like my 3 siblings and my parents all introduced me to different music that I think my musical taste is like super eclectic. I think you'd have a really
It
hard
is.
time finding anyone who has more eclectic
How's
musical taste
Ghost
than me. Period.
BC doing for you?
Awesome. Ghost is awesome. But like I love almost everything. Like you're not gonna find it's not like I'll casually listen to this. Like I really love like all this random shit. And I think it's just from the way I grew up. So we were talking about Days of Future Past by the Moody Blues, which is like a really fucking awesome record. I mean, that reminds me of my dad and that reminds me of being really young. That's like one of the first bands Moody Blues was like the first band I ever remember listening to. And I think I told a story about how my parents bought a Crown Victoria and they put the tape in. This was not for Days of Future Past, so this was that weird like new wave-ish album that they released in like the mid 80s. And I remember listening to one of the Moody Blues songs, and they're the first band I remember hearing. A lot of Beatles records for my mom, Sgt. Pepper and Magical Mystery Tour, especially. Those albums are really important to me. It reminded me of my driving back and forth to hockey games with my mom. As far as like my own music is concerned, Green Day's Dookie and No Doubt's Tragic Kingdom are super important records to me. I know every fucking inch of those albums in terms of the drums and in terms of Trey Cool. I can keep up way better with Adrian Young than Trey Cool, but I just know those albums very well. And again, they remind me of hockey and locker rooms, and just we would put on those albums and get dressed up and get hyped up or whatever with those records. And I remember those a lot. Every 311 album was an event for me. I remember getting Blue Album and Transistor and going back and getting Music and Grassroots, which were their earlier albums. And Sound System came out October 12th, 1999. I remember it was 2 days before my birthday. I remember my dad went and got it for me, and it was like part of my early birthday present. I remember cutting class that day with my girlfriend at the time, and she was in 11th grade, I was in 10th grade, and we like went to this like stairwell like that no one went to in school and just like listened to the album.
That's awesome. That's a great one.
I remember that like yesterday. She and I went to
then?
nothing happened. I was too young and stupid to
Take the
to know it, and she was too. She and I are good friends. We went to Northeastern together and everything. We knew each other for a long time. Let's see. A great memory I have. Dredge is one of my favorite bands, and their album LCL is arguably my favorite album of all time. And I will never forget when I heard it for the first time. Ramon showed it to me, and I remember we were roommates in college, and he started playing the song. The song was called Sansin. And I turned around and I'm like, what the fuck was that? And he's like, it's Dredge. You want to hear it? And I remember just laying on my bed and listening to this record all the way through. It's a concept album, and it's really awesome. It reminds me of that time. There's a great band that no one's heard of called Open Hand. Released this album called You and Me. That's not on Spotify, unfortunately. A lot of their other stuff is, and that album really reminds me of the summer of 2005. It's very emotional. It's very sad. Because I was emotional and sad in 2005 as I am in 2015.
Yeah, so like there's little different touchstones like that. But I mean, I can go on and on. Weezer's Blue Album reminds me of my sister's old boyfriend Skip, who bought it for me. Because I was like, he was a guitar teacher, and he actually helped buy my first drum kit because he worked at a music store, and I remember driving around with him. He had like a Camaro or something, and we used to listen to the Blue Album. And
This guy sounds
That's
awesome.
awesome.
And
yeah. Skip's cool.
yeah, we used to go to like Taco Bell and stuff like that. He was like really cool to me. Like he
Yeah.
was 6 years older than me. I used to think I was like in 5th grade, and he was in like 11th grade. And I used to think
Oh,
he was like
yeah, he's the coolest.
he was like the
then.
coolest, and we used to, and I remember him buying me a copy of the Blue Album. It was like 95 or 96, so it was like a couple years after it came out.
Nice. Yeah, for
Um,
me, I mean, like you're bringing up old stuff that I'm thinking of too. Like when I think when it's I looked it up, Carole King, It's Too Late or whatever. Like that takes me right back to the motorhome because my parents had a Carole King tape that they would put in and just listen to over and over and over again. And then this still always cracks me up that my mom liked Carly Simon a lot, right? And Carly Simon, of course, You're So Vain, like her huge hit or whatever. But she didn't have that. When she got the Mustang and had a CD player, she bought like Carly Simon's newest album and listened to it over and over. So I have so many I know that album start to finish of all these Carly Simon songs no one's
so
ever
funny.
heard. But I remember distinctly driving around in the summer in our suburb of Chicago with the top down in this Mustang listening to that.
Yeah, that's good for me. I think really thinking about this and hearing Colin talk, the biggest example of this question to me is anything by the Rolling Stones, because my dad was like obsessed, and my mom too, obsessed with the Rolling Stones. So like growing up, that's just those songs on repeat, like all the albums, every single song. And it's like it's such an intense correlation between the two things that like when I hear any Rolling Stones song, I can smell weed. Like I can smell my
You're
dad.
probably not the only person.
Like,
that
but it's just weird. Like it just reminds me of my dad's room and just talking to him or just being with him and just being around him and just the smell that I didn't know was weed at the time.
Yeah.
But like that was just my dad. But it's just like it's so weird that when I hear it, like almost don't hear the Rolling Stones perform that song. I hear my dad singing it. You know, and it's such a weird thing.
No, that's the Carole King thing. I hear my mom sing it.
Yeah.
Did you guys have? Was it a thing for you? Right? Did you ever have that person in your life that had the fucking subwoofer in the back of their car?
Yeah, like everyone I went to high school with.
Was it okay? So that was me too, except for me. I didn't. I had a hatchback. I was like, it's not gonna work. It's a sky blue 88.
Oh, dude, it shouldn't
hatchback.
stop you. I knew a dude that had a
was
station wagon
disgusting.
with a subwoofer in the back.
Okay.
So he was fucking balling out.
My brother was heavy into it, and my buddy Stu was heavy into it.
Stu!
And so, big Stu. And when Stu got one in his Jetta, it was like an old school Jetta. It was his dad's Jetta. It was like
classic.
this is even pre-Jetta. Like you look at this body type and you're like, that is one of those weird like Volkswagen cars that only hippies and German people drove for the longest time. And then, but Stu loved it and he took great care of it. He got like slamming rims on it and like lowered the fucking thing so it couldn't go over speed bumps.
Nick's buddy Stu
And
with them slamming rims.
Dude, and one of the things he got that big fucking nasty subwoofer in the back. It's
Big
like
subwoof?
the big box that basically made your trunk useless.
Yeah.
You just open it up and you could squeeze maybe a baseball bat in there. That was
Yeah.
fucking it. And I was like, this is cool. And then I think it was around the same time, and I might be mixing up my dates, that he got that car in the subwoofer that Prodigy became a thing. You guys remember Prodigy?
Firestarter.
Firestarter.
The album with the crab on it.
Yeah.
Fat of the Land, it was called.
And like that point where your fucking ears would
That was a
just
great
blow
record.
out.
Yeah.
I just remember rolling with Stu and I'd be like, it would finish and we'd pull up to a stop sign and I'd be like, did you want? He's like, yeah, we'll do it one more time and hit repeat on that song. And we would just keep fucking listening to Firestarter.
Yeah.
Like a
You are the
straight,
Firestarter.
Twisted Firestarter.
Those guys were fucking weird. I
were
bought that.
fucking weird.
I remember buying
They had a
that
good sound,
album and Wallflowers Bringing Down the Horse on the same day in the summer of 1997. I love that record. That Prodigy record is awesome. That's also a great album cover.
Around that time was Blue by Eiffel 65.
It was like a year later. I think I Full 65. I think was 98. I think I fucking hate that song. That
I love
that
that song.
That song is maybe, and I'm not even being facetious, maybe the worst song ever.
Which one's blue? Blue.
Like it almost sounds like a joke. Like the verses, like
No
not
joke.
not so much the chorus or the composition, but like the verses. I'm like, are you fucking?
The verses are
kidding me?
horrible. The composition's fucking dope though.
No,
that piano, that fake ass piano, the electric piano.
But it's like why?
hella
Like
sick.
he's like, and
was
it's
sick.
it's like I'm like, oh my god! I remember hearing that song and like I'm like, this shit sucks.
That's how I felt about. That's how I felt with Shaggy's "You're My Angel." I thought that was a joke. I was like, is this? I kept waiting for the parody. I was like, why is this guy singing like a frog? What is happening?
Wasn't the blue song in like Iron Man or something?
Iron Man 3 opened with it because
Yeah.
it was like a period thing.
And everyone fucking lost their mind. You guys were like, "Oh my god,
We were so excited.
This is a fucking poetry." And I was like, I
hope
hated this
I
song
hope
then. I hate it now. I don't want to fucking listen to whatever.
It was
again.
me and Alex Salavita, so you can imagine
Yeah.
the excitement.
Oh,
level.
that
And I was like,
song is
why
fucking. It's
that
that and
song?
Aqua.
Barbie Girl?
Which we were talking about the other day. The only redeeming quality about Barbie Girl was that girl was really hot. I remember.
The other one there is "We Like to Party" by the
we
Venya
like
Boys.
to party. Oh
Yeah.
god, yeah.
Oh, I'm down on that.
There
as
was
soon
a
as I
lot
get
of
home.
weird shit going on in the late '90s and these like just really bad
There's a
like
lot of
one-off
there's
singles.
still a lot of weird shit.
There
going
is,
on.
but it was these, but it was a different time where singles like Macarena is a good example where there were still albums. But God help you can name another one of those.
Mambo
fucking guys.
No. 5.
Yeah,
Oh my
there's,
God,
but like
yes.
they weren't selling like it wasn't iTunes like where you're selling dollar singles. Like these tracks were selling, making these fucking albums, these arbitrary bullshit albums go platinum like 5 or 6 times. I'm sure there's some fucking songs out there that made some of these things go diamond, which is an insane kind of like amount of
like
sales.
the hamster dance.
It's like holy Christ,
Like
man.
nonsense. The Rembrandts, right?
See,
With
but
when they did the Friends
Oh,
theme
yeah,
song,
yeah.
and suddenly
Oh.
everyone had that fucking album.
Yeah,
we still have that, right? We have what was the Gundam Style? That's
Yeah.
another one of those where
right,
I'm like,
but
that
he
is
didn't
still
do
an
that.
album.
Yeah, but that I mean that single is that guy made millions of dollars, and that song I would argue is actually pretty good. Like what all things considered because it's self-aware of how bad it is.
I guess it
which
is,
I don't
actually.
think
think about it now. I'm
which-
like that sounds actually kind of dope, and then you watch the video and you're like,
the video
So I
gives
gets
it
it.
away. The video totally gives it away that it's totally self-aware that it's bad. I don't think when those old ass men made Macarena that they
Yeah, they were
were
just
what were they
making
called?
art, man.
OMD? No, that was not OMD. It's Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, which is a great 80s band. But it was something. Oh, Los Rios Boys or
Los Rios Boys.
No,
I
is
think.
that it? No, that's a different band.
I'll
That's a
look it up.
different
Kevin.
band.
Stop
on.
looking
Kevin's
at the,
on it.
Kevin, stop. No, he's on the chive right now. Kevin, get off the chive. Get off
Phones.
Reddit /
Well, because weren't
Gone
Los Rios
Wild
Boys like a
/
legitimate?
No,
Well,
that's
look
the
up Los
Lonely
Lobos
Boys.
Boys.
Well, Los Lonely Boys. So maybe you're right. Yeah, Los Lonely Boys.
Rios.
Look up Rio de Janeiro.
Hey Google, look up Macarena artist.
Okay, Google, text Paula. Show me pictures of
This
your
is a
flesh.
true story. This sounds like I'm making this up, but this is a true ass fucking story. When I was young, I was convinced that the Macarena was made by Kevin's mom's friends.
because they did it so much every time anywhere.
That's
they were like-
racist.
Every time I was at your house, no, she acted like they were fucking best friends. Like the way that Kevin's mom was pushing the goddamn Macarena, she was proud of that thing. Like it
Maybe
was one of
it's
those things where it's like
Peruvian.
I could have sworn it was like her friend's thing that she was like, no, this is fucking awesome.
The Macarena was the
What's
worst
the
thing.
answer, Kevin?
Trying to figure it out.
Oh my god, I could have found
You
this answer
put
in 2 seconds.
Macarena into Google.
Well, he's-
Macarena
no,
Wikipedia
he
page.
doesn't-
Don't touch me.
He doesn't
Macarena
use-
Wiki.
He doesn't use Google because he's on an Android phone. They have their own special Google.
That true?
True at all.
Isn't that how your phone works, Kevin?
It's not like I can't. I type my
Los Del
friends.
Rio.
Los Del Rio.
That's
Thank
right.
you, iPhone.
I was close.
I don't know. The other thing that's funny, I was thinking is my love of hip hop from when I was really young, which comes from my siblings. I remember my brother used to bring me to the mall. I was 8 maybe, and he was like 20, and he would come home from college or whatever, and he had this like shitty fucking Geo that he'd drive, and he wouldn't take me anywhere unless I looked cool. So he'd put me in he'd take like these old skater jeans he had and like cut them so I'd fit in them and like put me in like an Adidas shirt and like old Adidas or whatever and then we'd listen to like Midnight Marauders or Balloon Mind State or one of these really old great hip hop records, and we'd go to the arcade and play like Mortal Kombat or something like that.
Yeah.
So those things remind me of that. Also, shout out to De La Soul's "Stakes Is High," which is the best hip hop album
It's
of all
amazing.
time.
It's fucking amazing. There's so many moments like that I'll never forget. This is not music, but I will never forget when we were at IGN and it was announced that Disney bought Star Wars.
Yeah.
Finding out that they announced they're making 7, 8, and 9. And the first thing I did was call Kevin and be like, dude, did you hear? And he's like, no. Like, Disney just bought Star Wars. They're making 7, 8, and 9. And it was just like a fucking experience where we're like, I can't believe this is happening. But like my first thought was to fucking call him. Bringing it back to music, I'll never forget when the song Forever by Drake, Kanye, Lil Wayne, and Eminem came out. It came out of fucking nowhere. And this was the first time Eminem had like really released anything of was even featured on a song for years after Relapse. So he had 3 albums that were fucking classics. Then he comes out with Encore and it was like, oh, this is bad. Then he came out with Relapse that was like, oh no, this is you're going down a fucking damn bad path. And then all of a sudden this Forever comes out and it's like, okay, these are all the hottest people in the mainstream game right now. There's got to be something here. I remember listening to it and then Eminem's verse, he comes at the end and he just fucking tears it apart, like destroys it. And I was like, holy shit, I can't believe that just happened. I called my brother. I'm like, dude, you need to come home right now. Like, stop what you're doing. You need to fucking come home now. I didn't even tell him what it was. And I just pressed play on the song, made him listen to all 3 verses before I got to it. And he's like, whatever, it's just a fucking song. And then Eminem came on, he heard, and he just knew. I didn't even need to tell him. He's just like, holy shit. And like, you need to listen to that verse. Eminem fucking kills it. And he has not done anything even close since.
Didn't he have sex with Christina Aguilera?
That was a long
No,
time.
they had a fight.
Didn't he have sex with Britney Spears?
I think Fred Durst had sex with Christina Aguilera.
Did Fred Durst have sex with Eminem?
Possibly. I suspect that they don't like each other very much. By the way, shout out to Limp Bizkit.
How do they not like each other anymore?
Oh, Limp Bizkit was Limp
Shout out
Bizkit
to
was a
Limp Bizkit.
fucking cultural phenomenon.
Hell yeah, that's the one band where I'm
Cultural
like,
phenomenon.
where it's like Limp Bizkit sucks. I'm like, fuck you. We all love
We
Limp
all
Bizkit.
fucking
We
love
all
Limp Bizkit.
loved Limp Bizkit, and you know what? I still love Limp
we can
Bizkit.
fly.
$3 Bill, y'all, and Significant Other and Hot Dog Flavored Water are fucking seminal high school records.
what
for
was
me.
rolling on? What? album?
Hot Dog Flavored Water.
I remember because that was another one where that when I
Track
turned
6, if I remember
18
correctly.
in that weekend I turned 18 for some reason. I went out with some friends or whatever, and I remember borrowing the mom's Mustang, the drop top Ford Mustang, and driving around listening to Rolling over and over again.
Yeah.
You talk about repeating a song, like Undertaker was coming out to it,
That's-
so it was the hotness.
That's an underrated.
Oh my
that's an
God,
underrated record. It was very produced, but it was really good. There's really good songs on that. Boiler is like a really good song. My Way is a really good song. I
Break stuff.
break stuff's
I
on
like
Significant
My way
Other.
or the highway.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Someday
Is that on Hot Dog?
you'll
No.
think
Huh.
No.
things my
Breaks
way.
What's the opening of?
Hot Dog is the opening of Hot
Really?
Dog Flavored Water.
Man,
What,
The one where
which
he
one
says
was
fuck
on
over and over
chocolate covered starfish?
That's chocolate starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water. Is
But
the,
what is
the name of the album?
Rolling on?
I thought there were two
Rolling is on Hot Dog Flavored
I
Water.
thought there were 2 albums. I thought their second
No,
album.
Chocolate
was called-
Starfish. No, the first album's $3 Bill, y'all.
All right.
That's the one with Faith on it.
I love
The
Faith.
Significant Other is the second album. That's the one with like Nookie and Break Stuff and Rearranged.
Oh, that's
The
right.
third
I did it
album
all for- that
is-
was a big one. I did it all for the Nookie.
Yeah,
What?
was a big one.
I mean, Chocolate Starfish I think was even bigger, and that's the one with Rollin' and My Generation and My Way, or not My Way. No, My Way's on there, and Boiler. And then West Left, and then it was Results May Vary, which was that weird record that everyone hated. But Limp Bizkit will always remind me of high school because everyone fucking loved Limp Bizkit and Korn and POD
And Linkin
and all
Park.
and Linkin. Yeah, fucking Hybrid Theory was
Amazing.
when that came out fall 2000. That album hit. Everyone fucking loved
Yeah.
that album.
What's so funny is, for me, Break Stuff was on it because I got some jank ass mix CD that was just a bunch of Limp Bizkit things.
Oh.
But someone wrote Hot Dog Flavored Water in fucking permanent marker on it. So to me,
To you, that was
Yeah,
how
that
I
was
gotcha.
track
Yeah,
one.
been there. I've been there for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh
We
no,
did
yeah,
an
Break
album.
Stuff. Break Stuff is I remember that video very well. Yeah, so those albums remind me of and fucking Slipknot. That first Slipknot record reminds me of high school. Reminds me of my friend in his Subaru fucking station wagon with his sub, and but he never played hip hop. He'd always play like Lost Prophets or fucking is like a fucking you can't talk about Lost Prophets anymore at all because of what happened with that singer. Like I haven't.
What
Do
happened
you
with the
guys
singer?
do you guys
No.
know any of this stuff?
No.
Lost
Wait,
Prophets was like
go
a
back to
really
me. What's Lost Prophets?
Lost Prophets. I really love the Lost Prophets, and I haven't listened to them once because I can't listen to them anymore. Their singer went away to prison for abusing and sexually assaulting or something like underage girls at shows and stuff like that for years. And I'll find the information for you because I don't want to get it lost. But when that happened, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I loved
That
those
happened
guys.
recently, right? I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. And so people really loved that first Lost Prophets record where I was from, and obviously the Long Island bands were really big where I was from too. So people really loved Glassjaw, that first Brand New record, those first 2 Brand New records. People really liked Taking Back Sunday, obviously.
Was it-
Billy Joel was fucking massive to everyone. I mean, Billy Joel's an icon where I'm from. So
Was it the Blink 182
Ian Watkins
album
is the guy
with the
named-
nurse?
Yeah.
that's the second record. Yeah.
Man, I don't remember one Blink 182 song, but I remember that album.
You remember
Criminal charge: attempted rape
Nobody
of a
remembers
child under
Blink-182
13,
back.
sexual assault of a child under 13, taking, making, or possessing indecent images of children, possessing an extreme pornographic image involving a sex act on an animal. That's It says Ian David Carslack Watkins is a Welsh musician and convicted sex offender. Watkins achieved prominence as a founding member, lead vocalist, and lyricist of the rock band Lost Prophets. Lost Prophets disbanded in 2013 after Watkins was charged with sexual offenses in late 2012. In November 2013, he pleaded guilty to 13 charges, including the attempted rape and sexual assault of a child under 13. These offenses were committed against the infant children of 2 fans who were also convicted. He is currently in HM prison Long Larton serving 29 years.
Holy shit.
So like once that happened, because I really, and a lot of my friends really like those, especially those first 2 Lost Prophets records. Although I think I actually reviewed the 3rd Lost Prophets record for IGN Music back in the day. And once that happened, I'm like, I mean, how can you in good conscience ever listen to them ever again?
It's hard. It's hard for me to watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off because Rooney got convicted.
Did he?
Yeah. Went down. Jeffrey, I forget the actor's name.
Also, Howard the Duck. He was in Howard the
That was
Duck.
heartbreaking for me. Came around though. I still watched the movie.
It's just, I mean, it's disgusting. Like what some of these.
You overcame.
It's like a dark turn.
You
but-
overcame,
It's my
Nick.
favorite movie of all time. I'm like, yeah, this fucking sucks, but his performance in it is good. It's unfortunate.
Just took a dark turn, but yeah, it's disgusting. Like what people like. I feel like, you see
What do you
someone
want
like
to
the
say? It's a good movie.
No, it's just
I didn't know at the time the guy was diddling kids.
it went from just the
Never mind.
hilarious. Now any word that starts with H, you add 4 H's before it starts.
What did I do in that sentence?
Hilarious.
Yeah, I don't remember. You said something that starts with an H that was not hilarious.
Tim,
But
you're
you added it.
mistaken.
And earlier for Ouija, you added it.
Ouija. Isn't that how it's spelled?
what.
Ouija.
Holy
With a bunch
shit.
of O's.
Anyway, what I was trying to say was that it's weird to see. It's weird like when you are really into a band. I remember seeing that first Lost Prophets. Talk about memories. I remember seeing the Lost Prophets video for Shinobi versus Dragon Ninja, which was like their first single, and that fucking song was really really awesome. I was in high school. I remember seeing that with my friend Jeff, and he had like a finished basement. I was like, who the fuck are these guys? It was on MTV2 or whatever. And I went and, got the record, and it's just weird like. You don't know who these fucking people are.
Yeah.
Like you really
Yeah.
don't know who these fucking people are.
Let's also be like, let's be clear about something though. Like, it's very, very dangerous looking up to rock stars. That's just the way it goes. Like, these guys aren't the moral leaders that we all want to make them out to be. Now they're actors,
Except for
them.
Usher.
Sure.
Thank you, Nick.
No, but
Sure.
you know what I was thinking? I was having an interesting conversation about the Lost Prophets specifically with a friend of mine not too long ago. I think it was actually with Ramon, where we were talking about the other guys in the band had no idea that this was happening. Like the other 5 guys in the
How
band.
do you not know what's happening?
Well, I mean, they all live their private lives. I mean, let's assume they're telling the truth. I assume that they're telling the truth.
I have
was
no
there
idea
some of
what
it at
Tim's
concerts?
bedroom looks like.
So, but what I was saying was like that guy.
I do.
That guy demolished their entire livelihood.
Yeah.
No one is ever gonna. That name is done. No one's ever gonna buy a Lost Prophets record again. No one's ever gonna see them tour.
You can't
them
trade
new
on
album.
that. You can't be like, I used to be a member of Lost
Yeah, like
Prophets.
they own those songs. Whoever he wasn't, I don't think one of the songwriters. So like people with songwriting credits on their songs are done. Like it was like not only did he like hurt these people and hurt these kids and like fuck up their lives or whatever, he also like fucked all of the people that he was associated with professionally. And like all their years of hard work where they were building a catalog and building a fan base and a following and all this kind of stuff just totally thrown out the window. And it's just amazing. The point I'm trying to make is like they didn't even know him. You know what I mean? Like they didn't even know him and they were in the band with him for 15 years or whatever.
But like on some level, if he's doing that shit at the concerts, like you don't see that. You don't know that's happening. Like you don't think there's on some level. Like
I don't know if
some
he was
party
charged for
that's
anything
like,
that happened at concert.
You know what? I'm just not gonna. I'm gonna turn a blind eye to this. Similar to like what was the football, college football stuff that was happening at
Penn State.
Penn State, like that shit. Like people knew, and they were just like, this guy really wins a lot of games for us, so we're just gonna. Was it the coach?
Jerry Sandusky,
Yeah. Assistant coach.
Assistant coach, yeah. And he died though, right? He ended up having a heart attack and dying like right afterward.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
dead now. I don't know what he
Conspiracy.
died of, but yeah, he did die.
I don't know. It's conspiracy. And I don't want to know the answer to that. If someone put a fucking bullet in him, that's fine. But seriously, I mean, this guy's serving 29 years now from this band. Hopefully they're fucking really hard. 29 years.
I'm sure they are.
Hopefully they're real hard. Because that's bullshit.
But yeah, I always just thought about like that like he didn't only hurt these fucking innocent kids and their families and all this kind of stuff, but like totally just blew this whole thing up for these other innocent. Presumably, I believe them that they don't know.
Sure.
I mean, why would you know? They might not even really like each other. They all play in a band. They probably hate each other. At
Look
this
at
point.
Hall & Oates.
Sure.
But like I had a conversation where I'm like, someone brought that up. I think it might have been Ramon. I don't know. He'll remind me. He listens to the show, but where he was like, we were talking about it. I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. Like those guys are done.
Yeah.
Like it's not like what happened with Sublime where they play with a new singer or with Alice in Chains where they play with a new singer or whatever because the singer died or something like this is like a tainted whole catalog of music because he wrote the lyrics and he's singing them and it's just interesting to think about. I mean, it's not the most important thing, but it's certainly an interesting piece of
I mean,
blowback.
there's a good moral there, right? That if you're a core member of a group, you should think about the other member of the group and not do anything, I don't know, illegal. Could maybe screw up everything they've ever worked for.
Why are you looking at me?
What? I don't know. You're
My life is an open book. If I was going to do something illegal, you guys would be the first person to hear about it.
your
you talk about it here on the
your
show.
addiction to heroin.
Tim.
Yes.
I'd be a lot
What's your
skinnier. I'd be
topic?
a lot skinnier if I was addicted to heroin.